When a narcissist shames others, but they're actually shameful inside. This is what narcissists most ashamed of. Hi there, and welcome to another video. Let me take this opportunity to wish all of you a happy and relaxing day. Thank you so much for supporting my channel by subscribing. The help is greatly valued. So, today I'd want to talk about the narcissist's darkest shame and the ways in which they try to cover it up. Truthfully, we've all got to deal with our fair share of embarrassment. I hope that through reading this, you may all gain a deeper understanding of shame in all its guises. However, narcissists take center stage because shame plays such a major role in their daily lives. What is it that you most regret? We'll need to define shame before we can answer that. Now, let's understand a little bit about the distinction between shame and guilt, two emotions that are frequently confused with one another. It's the pit in our stomachs that forms whenever we make a bad decision. On the other side, shame is the emotion we feel when we realize we're to blame for anything or that we've let ourselves down. To put it another way, to feel guilty is to acknowledge having done wrong, but to feel shame is to acknowledge being the source of the problem. When viewed through this lens, our inner characteristics, rather than our acts, would be the primary determinants of whether we feel shame or not. Shame is another personal issue that only the bearer of shame knows it exists. Narcissists obviously feel no guilt when they lie, cheat, or manipulate. Why? Because doing so brings them joy. They do, however, have a built-up sense of shame that they keep to themselves. Narcissists feel tremendous shame because they hate the evil, vile creature they have become, which is why they feel so shameful and miserable that they're so insecure inside. They go to great measures to conceal their true identities for fear of being caught. This is because they have bought into the lie that their true, authentic self is unworthy of love and acceptance. Narcissists have shame, but their pride keeps them from admitting it. As a result, not even once did they venture there or make any effort to confront that shame. The issue can be avoided without any effort on their part if they choose to ignore it. They also avoid anything or everyone that would force them to confront the shame of what they are. The best approach to deal with the shame, they've learned, is to bury it as deeply as possible. All the boasting, acclaim, and other pretenses are necessary because they are covering up the one thing they would rather not reveal: who they really are. They became preoccupied with portraying an ideal of the kind of partner they believed they merited. It's as though they've been wholly immersed in their character. They go to great lengths to hide who they really are and the overpowering sense of hopelessness that haunts them, so that no one else would pay any attention to them. Feelings of worthlessness are a constant companion for those who have to contend with the crippling shame they experience. They know they have problems, but they can't bring themselves to accept them. Thus, they take solace in crafting a life of lies and dishonesty and rejecting the reality of their circumstances. This is why they constantly put up a front. Because of this, they hide their true, disgusting personalities by adopting the personas of others or making fun of them. Despite their damaged, dark, and wretched nature, they would nonetheless engage in all this self-help activity in an attempt to please their ego and false self. Narcissists are mainly concerned with how they appear to others, and therefore they will often attempt to conceal any inner turmoil or agony they are experiencing. Their inward pessimism leads them to conclude that life is meaningless. As a result, they are fooling not just themselves, but also those around them. That's why they can't feel better about themselves despite their abundance of material goods. Despite their varied accomplishments and connections, the shame continues to plague them. No amount of money can buy back your dignity after you've been embarrassed. As time passes, they continue to amass greater amounts of disgrace. As a result of this guilt, they feel deplorable and miserable. And this guilt is what drives all their worries. Everything that the narcissist is anxious about stems from an innate feeling that they can't handle. Shame. Inflicting humiliation on a narcissist in public can make them feel ashamed again. There's a chance you'll experience feelings of guilt and humiliation after breaking up with a narcissist. Age and criticism are two examples of life changes that may bring on feelings of inferiority. It's understandable that people would go to great efforts to avoid feeling ashamed. This feeling is a manifestation of the rejection of one's own identity. And what sane person would voluntarily subject themselves to that? Narcissists are preoccupied with repressing and pretending when they could benefit from other methods. They spend their whole lives deflecting responsibility and looking elsewhere for answers, both of which are major factors in their incapacity to recover. They point the finger at others rather than taking ownership of their actions. The only way out of one's inner prison is through the painful but ultimately cathartic process of admitting that something is wrong, that one is not perfect or okay, and confronting that darkness. They can no longer convince us that their new identities suit them. They have nowhere to run and hide now. In spite of their outward appearances, we know the truth behind the glitz and glamour. This means that the only people they are fooling are themselves. Aside from themselves, however, there is no one they can rely on for help or rescue. Unfortunately, many people act in this way because they are too embarrassed to face the embarrassment of being honest with themselves. Having the epiphany that the responsibility for making changes or providing support is squarely on their shoulders. Instead of facing their greatest fear, shame, they are stuck in a never-ending cycle of denial, suppression, and projection. That they are ashamed of who they really are is the source of the deepest shame they experience. However, we can't avoid the truth that we've all experienced feelings of embarrassment. Although everyone has felt ashamed at some point in their life, narcissists often keep the shame they've felt locked away inside for the remainder of their lives. They are unwilling to deal with their problems or accept responsibility for their horrible behavior. Instead of changing their dishonest habits, they opt to disregard the world around them. And much of their envy stems from internalized shame. Narcissism is used as a key defense mechanism against feelings of shame. People who are racked by an overwhelming sense of shame frequently try to gain external appreciation as a means of covering up the damage to their self-esteem. The appearance is deceptive. The interior is nasty. Each of us has encountered such a narcissistic person. Their narcissistic nature makes social relationships uninteresting and one-sided, which can be taxing as friends or acquaintances. While understanding their excruciating humiliation may help us feel greater sympathy, it does little to improve the quality of our interactions with them. Okay, I suppose that's everything I can think of right now. I trust this data was helpful to you as usual. Feel free to leave your comments and questions on this topic below. It is with great anticipation that we await to read them. It would be really appreciated if you subscribe to our channel and hit the bell button so you don't miss any of our future uploads. We appreciate you watching this. Thanks.